Well, CNN has obtained audio of President Donald Trump telling campaign donors that he would bomb Moscow and Beijing. Have a listen.
To Putin, I said, if you go in to Ukraine, we're going to bomb in Moscow. I'm telling you, I have no choice. Then I'm with President Xi of China. But I said the same thing to them. I said, you know, if you go into Taiwan, I'm going to bomb the out of Beijing. And he didn't believe either, except 10%. And 10% is all you need. In fact, 5% would have been okay, too.
The audio was reportedly recorded during his first term as president. Now, Donald Trump has taken a more critical tone with Vladimir Putin since his return to the White House, despite previously blaming Ukraine for starting the conflict, which of course was not the case. The shift to a tone of frustration towards the Russian president has even resulted in the White House sending more weapons to Ukraine after having put it on hold. Joining me now is retired four-star General Jack Keane. General Jack Keane, thank you for joining me. What's the strategy here? I mean, the US is now resuming arms supplies to Ukraine and Donald Trump is suddenly hitting back at Vladimir Putin. Why the change in sentiment, do you think?
Yeah, well, Donald Trump believes very strongly in personal diplomacy, probably much so or so than any president or prime minister in a position similar to his. And by that, I mean he attempts to maintain a very positive relationship with an adversary and doesn't do anything to denigrate that adversary, publicly. I mean, President Trump knows that Putin is a thug, he's a killer, he's committing genocide just about every single day by targeting civilians. And so he's very much aware of who he's dealing with. But he wants to maintain a relationship because he believes that could lead to a positive deal in the future. The other thing is he's been exerting significant patience in dealing with Putin as he strung out all of these negotiations with virtually no progress whatsoever. I mean, the immediate thing on the table, and it's been there for months, is a temporary 30-day ceasefire. And Putin has not agreed at all to that. Meanwhile, I know for a fact that he has conversations similar to what I'm about to pass on. Well, Mr. President, I want peace just like you do. But, we really have to solve the root causes of the problems here, before we're able to really have a permanent information. The second thing he says, well, I think it's really important for us to return to the economic relationship that both of our countries had for the mutual benefit of both of those. So these are the pleasantries that he deals with the president on a regular basis. But meanwhile, when it comes to the battlefield and what he's doing, he's playing real hardball, as we have seen. And so the president is very frustrated as a result of that. Putin's objective in stringing all of this out, for the sake of your audience, has been to get President Trump frustrated, so much so that he will pull away in his support for Ukraine. That has been the objective in dealing with the discussions that they have had. So Putin has accomplished something. President Trump is frustrated. But guess what? He's not pulling away. He's indeed doubling down. So he's providing military assistance to Ukraine, things that they desire, and he is and he's supporting the senators here in the United States and also supporting the Europeans who want to come down with crippling sanctions on the Russians, which I think we'll see evidence of later this week, if not then certainly next week. So that's kind of where we are with President Trump providing military assistance to the Ukrainians and also supporting tough sanctions on Russia because he believes that Putin is just playing him and he's not making any progress to come to the negotiating table.
I want to ask you about the US imposing sanctions against the UN rapporteur on Palestinian rights, Francesca Albanese. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said it's for her illegitimate and shameful efforts to prompt action against US and Israeli officials, companies and executives. This comes just over a week after the US demanded she be fired for virulent anti-Semitism and support for terrorism. General Jack Keane, why has the US acted so swiftly here?
Well, we've got a long history of the politicization of the ICC that's been going on for many, many years, threatening hauling our soldiers into court for actions in Afghanistan, and also the huge undercurrent of anti-Semitism that exists in that organization. It is a political organization, doesn't come anything close to some kind of a judicial system that is about trying to establish justice and fairness. So our Secretary of State is pushing back, rightfully so, on what he's dealing with, and giving appropriate public attention to who these people are and what they stand for.
Before we let you go, an ally of the Iranian Supreme Leader has apparently joked that Iran could assassinate President Donald Trump at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. The advisor to Supreme Leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, says Trump can no longer sunbathe in Mar-a-Lago because while he's lying down, a micro-drone might target and strike him right in the navel. General Keenan, the remark was made on Iranian television this week. Even if it was intended as some sort of sick joke, does it fuel the fire, especially if Iran does consider any sort of retaliation for the US attacks on its nuclear facilities?
Iran has just suffered a significant military defeat. They've been humiliated in their own country, these leaders. There's some significant divisions among the elites as a result of the debacle and fiasco that they've had to deal with. I mean, the senior military leaders, their most senior military leaders were killed while they were sleeping, all simultaneously in their homes or in their apartments, and another group was meeting. The same thing with nuclear scientists. And they're scratching their head and say, how could that be? Also, the Israelis took down all 70 air defense batteries that they had put together after the Israeli strike on the S-300 and S-400 Russian advanced air defense systems. And certainly the strike on their nuclear enterprise has been comprehensive and at a minimum severely damaged them and set the program back a number of years, if not severely destroyed much of it. That it couldn't be a worse situation that Iran is facing. I've not seen anything like it in the 45 years that they have been in power. They are publicly and internationally humiliated. They are weakened politically as a regime. And now we have this sophomoric nonsense coming out of their legislature. I wonder why anybody would pay any attention to it, frankly, and we're giving it more attention than what it deserves. But I don't think it's worth a response in terms of the seriousness of it, other than to underscore that the Iranians, as we know by our intelligence services, had two plots to kill President Trump, and they have threatened to kill 55 of our government officials who served in the first term, and one of those plots was foiled against former National Security Advisor, Ambassador John Bolton. But they're back on their heels in a way that they've never been, and this nonsense rhetoric coming out of some of their government officials, I don't think we need to take it too seriously.
No, fair enough. General Jack Keane, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Yeah, enjoyed talking to you. Thank you very much.